Same time, same place next week. Special surprise for you. Come check it out. Lots of fun. We'll have a guest with me, and they'll probably be promoting. They're not sworn to secrecy or anything. I just don't want to take the wind out of their sails, because I think they're gonna announce it on their stuff. So keep an eye out. Someone who's in our Last Epoch community will be. It's a big milestone for them, so they'll be on the stream for us.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. Mike, one of the senior developers at 11th Hour Games, held his normal Friday Q&A live stream on Twitch, which means I get to bring you Dev Chat 99. As always, Mike answered lots of great questions from the community and gave us a few little teasers here and there, and then one visual, which I have no idea what it is. We will see that later in the video. Now, before we get into our first question, quick announcement. Next week, June 30th, is Dev Chat 100. And to celebrate 100 live streams covered, I will be joining Mike live on his 2-hour stream. So it's going to be a Dev Chat live edition where we're going to be playing multiplayer, answering questions, showing off teasers, talking about the future of the game. It should be a really fun time. So mark your calendar. I will be joining the Last Epoch game stream this coming Friday. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. So much fun. Okay, Dev Chat 99. First question, we're talking about the Monolith and again, randomization. Little Easter egg in here as well.
When you what am I trying to say here? Oh yeah. When you enter an echo, there's a pretty high probability that you know, if you've played 1,000 echoes, there's a pretty high probability that you can tell most of what's going to happen in that echo. And that's the problematic part of it, really, is that you find yourself just race to the finish. You know what the finish is. There's nothing that's like, hey, maybe this cool thing could happen here. No, there's no option for that cool thing to happen because it doesn't exist. And so adding this unexpected content and the really basic option that I always bring up when I talk about this, sorry if you've
taking off his socks,
is the taking socks off to get a little bit of heat dissipation. It is warm in here. And this is not, so we do have plans to add something. This is not the first thing we're planning on adding, but the easy example I like to share is a treasure goblin. It's a really basic thing. It's an implied quest. It's an unexpected content. You see a goblin, he runs away, you go chase him. If you can kill him before he teleports away, you get a big reward. Great, unexpected content, implied quest, awesome. Shakes things up, you get a reward. Fantastic. And that's the style of content that I think the Monolith is really missing, because as the term you used was monotonous. And I think something that really leads to monotony feeling that way is knowing what's going to come and not having any surprises, really. Currently, the only real surprises happen gear that drops. So you're surprised by gear that drops. You're like, oh, cool, this gear dropped. That's awesome. And by which echoes, when new echoes are revealed when you complete an echo, a new echo is revealed on the Monolith map, and there's an element of surprise there where you're like, oh, what did I unlock? What's the next things that are available?
I'm gonna stop right there. Something he says in this is that that's not the first thing we have planned. So they are bringing randomization to the Monolith, and they haven't told us anything other than Mike always using the example of the treasure goblin, but he said that's not coming first. So what is coming first? New dot?
Traveler, has there been any internal discussions about the current player consensus on how all hit builds must be crit in order to scale into endgame, and full dot must go attack speed in order to get 300 plus stacks or whatever, aka people feel hit builds that also utilize dots are not viable. Obviously hybrid isn't optimal. Any thoughts? This is not a new discussion. This is not a new topic by any stretch of the imagination. Like there's we added the idol a little while ago, the singularity idol. It's a one by one idol that basically makes it hit not crit good, or tries to, at least better than it was. And yes, I'm aware it doesn't do enough on its own to make that type of playstyle.
It does not
really shine. But this is something that we've been aware of for quite a while, and it's not a new topic for us at all. There are
Here it comes.
A new style of dot appearing in one of the new skills that we made recently.
New style of dot.
So it's I don't think this is an overnight change that's going to be like and we've decided to add these 100 things and remove these 100 things specifically to combat these two things. No, I think these are a little bit more subtle problems than might appear at first glance type thing. And I don't think the scales are actually, like, they're definitely imbalanced. Don't get me wrong on that at all. But I don't think they're as imbalanced as it might feel right now.
Stop you right there, Mike. New dot. I'm gonna guess Warlock? Visual teaser. When you see this, it reminds me of Tremors, but a frog.
I'll answer some other questions. Well, boom, here's a cool thing. How cool is that? It's pretty cool.
It's a Tremor frog.
All right, thanks for the answer, but I see a lot of people have reported a problem with the teleport to the city. The items remain on the ground. Oh, this is a follow-up on something that I missed. And when I return to the map, it reset. That is everything that was discovered.
It's also huge. Look at the size compared to the player.
The items have remained on Earth as disappeared. Yes, this is a known functionality. The question of whether something will be included for those of us who have finished the main story want to create a new character.
Stop it right here. Mike got bombarded all stream about campaign skip, especially on alts. And I believe the reason why this is because obviously everybody's playing Diablo 4, or majority of people are playing D4, and they know that once you beat the campaign once, forever, all future seasons, you can go into adventure mode and skip the campaign. I think this is a question that's going to continuously come up over and over again. That being said, I like this Tremor frog. I love this idea.
It would be cool if we could still keep fighting her after dying without a reward. Only a very small one, or only a very small one. Going through the whole dungeon to just get one shot by it is a real bummer. Yeah, and I think that's a big problem with
Tier 4 Julra.
I think that's actually a really big problem with the early versions of the dungeons when you're also when you're leveling an alt and you're going through those early levels of the dungeons. I think it's a big problem there.
Smoked.
Just got skushed.
Makes sense, right? Go through the entire dungeon, you walk up to tier 4 or whatever version of Julra, dead, kicked out, start over. I do like the idea of the mechanic at the end of the dungeon, basically the ability to create a legendary. You can no longer do that, but you could still fight Julra, kill her, and maybe it's like a, I don't know, 25% drop rate or something like that. But it does help you because you can continue to learn the boss fight mechanics. You can hone your skills so you can get stronger and stronger and better at the fight. It's a good idea. All right, everyone, we have come to the final question for DevChat 99. Mike was asked about PvP and he went on a long rant, and I'm allowed this rant to take out the video. Do not forget about next week, June 30th. I will be joining Mike live on stream to answer questions, look at teasers, and just play some Last Epoch multiplayer. It is going to be so much fun. Mark your calendars, June 30th, next Friday. That's all I've got. Mike, thank you for continuing the Friday live streams. Community truly appreciates it. Take it away on your rant for PvP.
I think this is possible for an ARPG to have good PvP. Absolutely, yes. Definitely. Now, just to clarify, our distinction of good PvP is extremely different, I bet. But yeah, I think that there's room for, I don't know if there's room for a PvE first ARPG like Last Epoch is, and I would argue so all of them are actually right now. Oh, there's an example in it that I'm not thinking of. Anyways, All the major ones, we'll say that. Anyways, I don't think that there's I don't think anyone's achieved awesome, like really high quality. It's a bad word, not quality. High competitive balance. High quality competitive balance might be the right term for it in PvP. Similar to the way that, like, for example, like WoW, and I'm not up to date on WoW's PvP scene at all, but they do strive for a competitive balance, and there's like a competitive meta that evolves, and all these things that happen around PvP in it, and like you look, maybe League of Legends would be a better example, where it's like that's a PvP first, basically PvP only game, and you know that's really the focus there. And so I think there's ways to do PvP well. And in an RPG, I think it's totally possible. I think that sometimes, like, there's certain expectations people have from a PvP system that would be required to make it good, that those expectations might not be possible to hit. And I think sometimes it comes down to like a ban list. Is something that needs to happen. So I can use magic cards as an example here. It's something that I know well and can talk about. There's different formats for magic cards. So like you'll have a magic card that gets printed, and it can be played in many different formats. And so we'll talk about formats the same way that you talk about like PvE versus PvP as a different format for playing an ARPG. And let's say a skill is analogous to a card. And so you have these skills that are designed for one environment that end up getting used in a different environment. So you have PvE skills that end up getting used in PvP. A little break here. Anton the 8th! Resub 4 months in a row. Thank you very much. Glad to have you with us. That's awesome. 4 months getting up there. Gotta get to your namesake number there. If you want. Hey, there's the hammer I was just talking about. A little while. I'll get back to this. This is what I was talking about, making a 4LP version of this, because it scales with your level. So because I'm level 71, it's 70 plus 71 melee physical damage. But even with that, even at a high level, that number's not really enough to compete with other base types, because the base types just have higher numbers than that anyways. Anyways, getting back to PvP being possible, it's high quality. I really think it is. And so you see in Magic, there's like Commander is a very popular format, Standard is another popular format, and Limited is another popular format. There's different pools of cards that you can play in each one of those formats. There's a lot of other ones too. There's Pauper and Historic and Alchemy and Legacy and Type 2 and Block Constructed, and there's so many other. There's lots of different formats. I didn't even hit them all. Penny Dreadful. There's if you've never heard of it, you like to play Magic, I recommend checking out the format Dan. It is the single weirdest format ever, but is super cool. Anyways, and I think that having these different so Magic gets away with having these different formats and different ban lists, different card pools, because there are, I don't know how many cards, 1 million cards at this point, 200,000 cards, I don't know, some huge amount of cards you can pick from. And so you don't need to have all of them available to make a fun format. But there's enough options to pick from. And so I think in order to make a successful PvP mode in a PvE, initially PvP developed and focused RPG, I think the key piece is having a skill ban list. Having certain skills that just aren't available, because there's not really going to be a fun way to make them functional in PvP. Because they're designed initially with PvE in mind. And so I'm bringing this back to last Epoch, don't worry. And this is one way we've created a pseudo PvP environment in the arena. The limited arena runs end with you fighting an NPC an enemy that is using player abilities. So it's kind of that PvP environment where you've just got an AI controlled PvP character because it's using PvP abilities, right? So we like there's a rogue there. I talk about this almost every week because I just love it. It's such a the person who made it, great job. One of the abilities the rogue casts in the limited arena runs is decoy against the player. Wow, what good does decoy do? It doesn't actually force you to ever target the decoy. So what's the point? Like, it doesn't do anything, right? It just explodes after a little while, and you just walk away and don't take a bunch of damage. Okay, great. But if you kill it quickly enough, it drops a bunch of runes and glyphs and stuff. So it does let you get. It draws your attention. It acts as a taunt. And so like there's subtle things you can do like that to change skills, and like that really wouldn't work, I don't think, in PvP, because you just have people agree to like not hurt each other and just keep spawning decoys and get infinite glyphs and shards. So we can't actually do that. But I think it's a good example of sort of an out of the box workaround to making a non PvP functional skill work in PvP. And if that's not possible, I think just banning it's fine. And I think there's other things like that you can do to make PvP fun. I just think you can't be scared to make big changes and to really shake things up for a PvP situation. Now, one of the hard parts about that, then, so like I'm saying, like, okay, yeah, it's possible to do it. You got to make a lot of changes. You got to do a lot of stuff. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of scope that's tacked onto the game, and so it can't come as just a small little thing and be fun. I don't think there's a way to do PvP in an ARPG that's initially developed PvE focused quickly, cheaply, and good. Like you gotta pick two of those things.